Finally, a chest! Empty? Are you kidding me?
Okay, I am not a nice person, but sometimes you just need to make something awesome out of cardboard and glue, which I have. Anyway, for this week, here's what you need. Mod Podge, or any type of glaze that you like. Skizzers, some paint brushes of various sizes, tacky glue, brown, gold, red, black acrylic paint, little bit of scrap fabric or thick ribbon, all the patterns, which will be available from a link in the description, 2 cereal boxes, and a toilet paper tube cut open on one side so that it will lay flat. Start by cutting out all of your cardboard pieces. They're essentially what the shapes are, except for the circle piece. That one you're going to want to cover the outside edge with little tabs that you're going to fold back later, so just make sure you draw all those tabs on and cut them out. Take the main box piece and paint the back of it black using multiple thin coats of acrylic paint. Once the back is black, go ahead and flip it over and draw in all of the fold lines. You also kind of want to score them with the pencil and then fold each one just to make sure everything's all in place. Then grab your Mod Podge or glue, whatever you happen to have on hand, and paint those tabs. Once thoroughly coated, go ahead and fold up your box, gluing the tabs to the side of the box. Do this for all 4 tabs until, well, you'll definitely have a box. Ooh, quick tip. I suggest using bobby pins to hold anything in place while you're gluing it. They work really great, and it's a great use for bobby pins that are now just a little too worn out to hold hair in place. Now take your slat pieces. You will have a lot of these. Lay them out on a cookie sheet or anything where you can paint and not make a giant mess. I lined my cookie sheet and then just did that. Paint the entirety of the backs black. Again, multiple thin coats until it's opaque. Once the backs are black and dry, go ahead and flip them over and start painting the fronts a red-brown color. If you look at the actual chests, they're pretty red. They're not really a brown so much as kind of a maroon. I ended up just taking red and black and brown acrylic paint and mixing it together until it was the color that I liked. Then added multiple thin coats until it was opaque. While those are drying, take your weird sun-looking piece and start bending each and every one of the tabs back. Once you've gone all the way around the circle, go ahead and take your piece and fold it in half, creasing down hard. Then take your scissors and cut along that crease. Starting at one edge of the toilet paper tube, take your 2 sun halves, paint 1 tab with glue, and glue down, matching up the edge of the half with the edge of the toilet paper tube. Once dry, go ahead and continue on, gluing the next tab down on both sides of the tube. So basically you're going 1 sun tab on either side each time, leaving to dry, and continuing onwards until you get all the way across. So you should have essentially a cylinder that looks like it's been cut in half when you're done. Once it looks like this, paint the whole thing black. Once everything's dry, go ahead and take some slats and start gluing them onto one of the semicircles. Just do this one at a time and make sure that everything's going over so that it's too big on either side, not that it's too small. You just want to make sure everything's covered. Once the glue is dried, go ahead and take a pair of scissors and trim off all of the excess. Now just repeat the process for every outside surface of the box. For the top bit, the one that's curved, you're going to want to go a little slow just because it is curved, so put 1 slat on, completely let it dry, then move on to the next one, continue until the entire thing's covered. So for the top, it's actually not quite a full half circle, so you're going to end up trimming off quite a deal just to even the whole thing out. Don't worry, it is part of the pattern. Now take all of your gold pieces and give them a nice coat of tacky glue. I do this by putting down a line that has way too much glue on it and then using my fingers to make sure that the blob kind of touches all the edges of each piece. Once all the gold pieces are dry, start gluing them onto the box where you want them to go. They are all going to be a little bit too long. This is just to help make sure that if anything shifts, you should still have a good margin of error, so you're probably going to have to trim a lot of them to fit. So just be careful, take your time, make measurements, but it's okay if they don't fit exactly because we're going to fill in all of the gaps later. Once you've got all of your side pieces and your front piece for the top glued on, time to attach the fabric. Now you're just going to do this by putting down a thin layer of glue that is going to be below where the back gold piece is and between the 2 sides. We want to completely hide this fabric. We don't want it to be visible at all. Once you've got your glue, lay your fabric down and leave it to dry. Once the fabric is dry, go ahead and attach the back gold piece. Continue gluing the rest of the gold pieces on with the exception of the top back gold piece that's on the box. Don't worry about that one just yet, we're not messing with it. Then take your tacky glue and fill in all of the seams and gaps. This will give you a welded texture, which I think is really cool. If you don't like the welded texture, then just skip this part. Your box should look like this with 3 square sides and 1 triangle side. That's the side you want to glue the fabric onto. So, go ahead and trim the fabric so that it's going to be, again, under the gold. You want it completely hidden. Then take your tacky glue. You definitely don't want to do this with Mod Podge. It will never stick on. And then just stick the fabric on. Again, you might have to hold it for a while to get it to stay. Once everything's dry, make sure you go around and do a thorough job clipping any extra threads. You really don't want anything sticking out. It will kind of ruin the illusion. Take your last gold piece, fit it in place, and go ahead and glue it down. Then fill in all other seams and gaps with a line of tacky glue, just like we did on the top to create a welded texture. Take out your acrylic paint and paint all of the gold parts gold using thin coats until completely opaque. Then coat the entire box with a healthy coat of glaze, being careful not to glue your box shut. This is pretty easy and it is the last step, just don't glue your box shut, you will be very, very sad. Then you are done! You have a lovely little treasure chest that you can either use to stick stuff in or troll people horribly.